Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with an Elder Scrolls Blades news update. Now I imagine this will continue to be a weekly thing since every Thursday for the last 3 weeks Bethesda Game Studios has dropped a new patch for ES Blades. This time around it's a lot less than what we covered last week, which was a significant patch where we saw the nerfing of the silver chest paywall, but underneath the surface something much more nefarious was going on, and a lot of you made me aware of that through the comments, through your feedback, and I can't say how much I do appreciate that because now we're going to expose what's really going on in Elder Scrolls Blades, and I think a lot of people are going to be unhappy with it, but this is all to hopefully make Elder Scrolls Blades a much better product. So this time around, Bethesda Game Studios posted a tweet saying, as mentioned on Friday, we've now removed direct purchase artifacts as level up rewards. Thank you for all your feedback and support during early access. Keep telling us all about your experiences. Your input molds the game. Well, here you go, Bethesda, I've got you covered. So now that we have legendary artifacts removed as level up rewards, they're only available for purchase. And as you dig deeper and deeper, you start to learn exactly what the goal of this game is, and it's not in a healthy way that it's pushing you. It starts off by digging into the job cycle, which I'm showing on screen right now. For reference, 1 means wooden chest, 2 means silver, 3 means golden, and 4 means elder chest. So the job cycle here is pretty much that as you do side quests in the game, you already have a predetermined route by Bethesda. They tell you when you're going to get a golden chest, when you're going to get a wooden chest, silver, elder, etc. And in the entirety of a job cycle, you'll earn 2 elder chests and 30 plus golden chests, which are some of the best loot you can get in the game. However, the elder chest is 1 in every 290. So the only way that you can obtain legendary gear, aka the best in the game, is through endlessly grinding and sinking time into the game, which as a free-to-play title, we can argue in a manner that it makes sense, but allow me to go on a little bit further and you'll understand why exactly this becomes a problem, because the main way folks were obtaining legendary loot was through the Abyss mode. Now, Bethesda in last week's patch notes did not mention anything about shadow nerfing the legendary loot from the Abyss mode. In fact, what they mentioned, as we can see on screen here, is that they adjusted the Abyss floors below your level to reward more experience, and they only mentioned that the elder chests are extremely rare but possible, so that's fair. But I think if they showed the probability was 1 every 290, something ridiculous like that, I think a lot of folks would have pushed back more, myself included. Anyway, the shadow nerfing from the Abyss mode is a huge change that Bethesda did not make anyone aware of in patch notes. This was discovered as well by dataminers. Not only does it strip away the point of the end game, once you beat the story, why do you keep playing? If you can't play the Abyss mode, which is this procedurally generated dungeon mode that keeps you going and keeps you looting, what do you do now? AKA nothing. There's nothing to do. So this is where the unaware players come in. As Elder Scrolls Blades is an incredibly popular mobile game, there are tons of people who are not inside the YouTube ecosystem, which is getting informed on your games or the press, whatever way you get it. No one's being informed on stuff like this. So what they're going to do is dig. And what I define digging as is you're just going deeper and deeper and deeper. You're just playing the game, hoping to pull that elder chest, grinding away, sinking endless hours in. And not only that, but suffering through the time chests, which I think get amplified here because you do have to go through those 6-hour golden chests. And yes, while it is only an hour now, there still is a timer for the silver chest, and the wooden chest, 5-second timer, whatever. But point being is that you got to go through all that even if there was a nerf, and you finally hit that 1 silver chest in every 290, and in the entirety of the job cycle you hit it twice. That is such a low ratio, especially when it's the only free way that could reward the player for playing to obtain legendary gear. So now you see what's going on here, because they up how you level up through going through lower level Abyss floors and having more XP, and that means that, okay, players can power level, so let's remove legendary artifacts as level up rewards. Now we're going to shadow nerf the legendary loot. We're going to give them a 1 in 290 chance, so it's pretty much hopeless that they get an elder chest. And then when they finally do, it's not going to come for a long while. And guess what happens for most consumers? Those who are maybe less aware of their impact of purchasing microtransactions and feeding these bad business practices, they're going to spend money, which once again, a free-to-play title, it makes sense. Bethesda's not going to hand out a game for free, and just at that, I've seen some people actually genuinely request that, and that's never going to happen no matter how egregious any action Bethesda makes. They're always going to try to be a business and make money, and understandably so. But what's happening here is that underneath the surface, Elder Scrolls Blades has become pointless to play. The end game is is gone with the shadow nerfing. And then the only way to obtain the best gear is through such a low ratio that you know you're going in for the biggest grind of your life. Why even bother? And that's the problem, man, especially because this wouldn't be too bad maybe if you could log in maybe 6 chests at once, so then you could keep them all opening as you farm all these jobs, and that maybe they expand the inventory size as well. These could be little ways to work around the grind, but currently in the infrastructure of Elder Scrolls Blades and how it is formulated, it is not in a good state, especially because all it does is reward players who pay a ton of money to get Elder chests, which are, mind you, not cheap at all. And I gotta say, I'm disappointed because once again, I'll emphasize the point I said in my review, Elder Scrolls Blades is a good game. It's just marred by all these microtransactions and paywalls and decisions that are hidden underneath the surface that only data miners have found out. And since Elder Scrolls Blades isn't making that mainstream press, kind of like Fallout Shelter did, a lot of it's falling under the radar, which is why I'm taking it upon myself to make a video, not to white knight or anything here, but really to make people aware of what's happening here. I personally find this unacceptable. Like I said, I know Bethesda can find a way to strike a happy medium where we can pay to get certain items in the game, but also not a way where it literally neuters the point of playing the game, where the end game's removed and the story is the only thing worth playing, which is, well, come on, it's a mobile game. There's no point in the story. It's not very good. People are here for loot. Bethesda knows that, and Bethesda orchestrated the loot grind to be very against you. There is a predetermined order, so you can tell where you are in said order, but that doesn't change the fact that you are going to be playing a lot of the game and getting a whole bunch of nothing, especially since most of your rewards are going to come through wooden chests, and wooden chests give you fair objects that you can just sell for more gold and you can decorate your town with. That leads to the end game really just being that, spending your gold on stuff to decorate your town with, building more buildings, which is a big part of it. But outside of that, man, nothing really to dive into, and I just wanted to make sure everyone's aware of where this game is driving you to. For me, I'm boycotting it. I'm not playing the game outside of getting gameplay. I want Bethesda to know I'm against their actions here, and I highly encourage those of you out there who are playing to maybe put the app down for a little bit of time until they start releasing more patches. It is in early access. They are doing weekly updates, so maybe by next week something like this has been amended, but at this current point in time, I personally can't support a product like this, which is working against its players constantly. I get it's free. I get that we should be happy it's free, but I think there is a happy medium that we've seen other free-to-play titles, albeit Smite, Apex Legends. I get they're on console, but those are free-to-play options that come to mind right away that I really enjoy, that don't work against me and give me probabilities, let me know what the game's having me work towards. But more than anything, it just is a fun title that I can play and enjoy without feeling like I've got to spend money to be the best I possibly can. And now this also may not seem like a big deal because, Matty, it's PvE. Come on, man. Like, who cares if you can get the best gear? It's not going to break the game. It's not pay to win. But there actually was, amongst all the data mining as well, found a PvP mode. Now here's a description of the PvP gameplay pulled out from the game by data miners. Before you can kick off your competitive career, every player must first complete 10 placement matches and obtain their initial skill rating. This rating will be a number between 1 and 5,000, with higher values indicating a greater skill level. Skill ratings and tier icons will be visible at the beginning of every match. As you compete, your rating will increase or decrease with each win or loss based on a number of factors, including your own performance, and this oddly sounds a lot like Overwatch, I guess. But anyway, you do obtain gold and crafting materials no matter your win or loss in this mode. Obviously, if you win, you're gonna get more. But also, I don't know about the gameplay side of things, because for me, Elder Scrolls Blades works well as a PvE gameplay. In fact, I'd argue its combat is quite intuitive for a mobile PvE title. But when it comes to PvP, I feel it's too fast and that there's too many ways to break the game in order to defeat your opponent, especially if you pay a lot of money to do so. So yes, if there is PvP and the only way that you can get some of these great pieces of gear is through chests that you spend real money for if you want to avoid the whole grind, the whole loop, then yeah, guess what, man? It becomes a huge pay to win factor. Now, we don't know when it's going to be added. For example, we did see that, for example, Fallout 76 had lunch boxes and a ton of other stuff in its data mining, but we still have yet to see that added. So perhaps there is a chance that it doesn't happen, but I feel like this is future content that's currently being worked on. These decisions being made here, we can't forget about, because they're gonna hurt the product in the long run. And I, like I said, wanted to make everyone aware of this. But anyway, that does it for your Elder Scrolls Blades news update for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed, feel more informed, and if you have any more to add to this, then do fire away in the comments down below. Last week's comments really shaped today's video because it made me more aware of what was happening. So I really appreciate those of you who got involved and let me know about the data mining and everything that was happening. Other than that, though, I look forward to reading what you have to say in the comments down below. So do fire away. Follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.